Carrot cake is a spring favorite, and today I'm going to show you how to make perfect cupcakes with these adorable floral designs. They look fancy, but they're so easy, so let's get started. Obviously, you're going to need carrots, so let's go ahead and prep these. I just have a vegetable peeler here. Going to make sure to get that outer layer off. Now that they're peeled, let's go ahead and grate them. It's worth it to do it yourself and grate it because you'll get nice, fresh, moist carrots. So you can see that these shreds are nice and big. They'll go into our batter really well, so I'm just going to keep grating. Once you get to the end of the carrot, you're just going to want to really be careful because you don't want to cut your fingers. So just get as much as you can safely and just eat the rest of the snack. Great, 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 great. Look how colorful and moist these are. Let me show you something. These are store-bought pre-shredded carrots. Oh my gosh, look at the difference. They're so chalky and they're dry, nothing compared to fresh. You don't want these. Time to make the batter. So let's start with our applesauce. So here I have 4 ounces of applesauce, which is half a cup. And we also need a half a cup of oil. So I'm just gonna use this same container. Gives you one less dish to do. So now let's add some vanilla. This will give it a nice flavor. Now let's add our eggs. So I'm just gonna crack these right into the bowl. And the last thing we need is sugar. Just gonna grab a cupful, add it right in. So now if you have a whisk, go ahead and just mix it up. You wanna break up those eggs and make sure everything is nicely incorporated, and then we'll add in our dries. Ooh, I smell the applesauce, it smells so good. To keep this recipe one bowl, we're just gonna add a sifter right on top and pour all our dry ingredients. It's always important to sift your dry ingredients when making cake so you get no lumps. So here's our flour. I'm just gonna wake it up by moving it around a little bit, level it off with anything you have around you that's flat. In addition to this, we're gonna have some baking soda, some salt, some baking powder, and cinnamon. This is gonna give us great flavor. So now I'm just gonna tap all that in. Let's go ahead and mix it. Just gonna make sure that it's nice and hydrated. All right, this looks good. Let's go ahead and add in our carrots. I'm just gonna drop that right in. And at this point, I'm gonna switch over to our spatula, kind of just fold those in. We don't wanna overmix the batter, but we just wanna make sure that all those carrots are nicely mixed in. And if you wanna add anything like coconuts, raisins, pineapple, now's the time to do that as well. Our beautiful batter is ready. So here I have cupcake pans that have liners already in them. And what I like to use to pour my batter in is an ice cream scoop. This is super handy. It's gonna keep everything nice and even so our cupcakes can all be the same size. So you just take a little bit of batter and then just scoop it right into your cup. Try to just get it about halfway full. So this batter makes about 18 cupcakes, and I'm gonna actually make some that are plain like this and then some with extra mix-in. So I don't know about you, but my household is divided. Some people like carrot cake just with carrots, others like them with nuts and fruit. So we're gonna make sure everyone gets what they want. I'm gonna add in some walnuts, and you can put as much as you want or as little as you want. Some raisins. If you're gonna use pineapples, you want to make sure that they're crushed pineapples and that they're drained of their juice so it doesn't add too much extra moisture into your batter. For a little bit of sweetness, we have some shredded coconut. All right, so this you can just mix by hand. So I'm gonna grab my spatula and just fold it in gently again. All those mix-ins are in, so now I'm just gonna scoop the rest of them into my other pan. I have my oven set to 350 degrees and these are gonna go in for about 15 minutes. We're gonna pair our carrot cupcakes with some delicious cream cheese frosting. Don't worry about going to the store and getting that canned frosting. It's more delicious when you make it at home. You probably already have these ingredients. We're adding softened butter, some softened cream cheese as well. Now I'm just gonna mix that up and beat it so that it's nice and smooth. It's really important that all these ingredients are at room temperature so that you can get a nice smooth frosting without any lumps. All right, so once that's pretty smooth, we're gonna add in our powdered sugar a little bit at a time. You can just kind of go cup by cup. If you put all the powdered sugar at once, it's definitely gonna kind of like get all in your face, so just do little by little. Okay, now let's add another cup. All right, so once all the powdered sugar is in, I'm just gonna add some vanilla to give it some flavor and then mix that in. Yeah, that looks good. I'm just gonna use a spatula to kind of get in all that powdered sugar that I wasn't able to get in with the mixer. All right, and that's our frosting. The cupcakes are now cool to the touch. I'm gonna allow them to cool the rest of the way on a wire rack. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because if you just keep them to cool completely in the pan, they'll kind of steam on the bottom and form condensation, and we wanna avoid the bottom from being soggy. And to get the cupcakes out, I like to just tilt my pan a little bit. I feel like it helps, otherwise it's like really hard to get the cupcake out without ruining it. All right, so even on the cooling rack, you wanna make sure that they have some space so they're not like too crowded and steaming each other. But this looks great. All right, so now that we have these, we're just gonna let them sit for a few minutes. Meanwhile, I'm gonna work on the decorations. Look at all these colorful decorations. Believe it or not, I'm gonna show you how to create these flowers out of marshmallows. Grab your kids, grab your friends. This part is super fun and we need a lot of petals. Here I have some mini marshmallows. Some are white, some are colored. Use whatever you have. You just take one of these marshmallows and a pair of scissors, and I'm gonna cut it on the diagonal right here. Then you'll have these little exposed parts that are still sticky, and we're gonna dip these into sanding sugar. So all you have to do is tap, 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 and then those will be our petals. I'm gonna continue doing that with all the rest of these. Here's our cream cheese frosting. I'm just gonna mix it up again to make sure it's super smooth. Right, that looks good. And now we are ready to put it on our cupcake. And what I'm gonna do is grab a little bit of frosting on the back of my spatula. I'm gonna place it right on the top, kind of just smooth it out back and forth. Spin it and do the same, just so we get nice coverage all the way up to the cupcake liner. We just want to get a nice layer on. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to be covering it up. So here I have my cupcake that's been frosted. I'm just going to start grabbing these pink ones. I'm just going to place them right around the edge. So I'm going to create a ring of petals first, and then we're going to make our way in. Now, when you're arranging this, try to keep that like corner side of the marshmallow on the bottom, and you'll see how it comes together so quickly and so easily. There's our first layer, and now we're gonna do our second layer. But with petals, it's important that when you put this second layer on, that you try to put new petals in between two of the petals that are already down there. So for this one, I'm gonna place this right in between those so we could see that back layer as well. Just keep making your way all the way around. And you'll notice as you make your way towards the center, the petals will kind of like stand up more. So it'll give the flower a very nice 3D look. So for our last layer, I'm just gonna fill the center with a few more. And once you've reached that, you can go ahead and adjust any of the petals that you need to, just to make it look like the flower is like cupping upward. And now we can do our center. So here I have some sprinkles. We have, big chocolate candies that you can just place like one right in the center, or you can use these small pearl sprinkles and place a few in the center, whatever you want. So have fun, be creative, and enjoy. I just finished making the rest of the flowers, and look at how fun and colorful they are. This carrot cake is so moist. You can see as I squish it, it's exactly what you want it to be like. Oh my gosh, look at the inside of that. Look at those raisins, they're plump. I see some of the pineapple. I gotta try this. That's really good. I'm gonna actually make them a little bit more colorful by adding these collars for the cupcakes, and it kind of ties in the whole spring feel. See how that just made it extra cute? I hope you give these cupcakes a try. If you do, please tag me. I'd love to see it. Happy spring! Grating fresh cupcakes yourself is so worth it. Did I say cupcakes or carrots? Grating your cupcakes is so worth it. Grating fresh cupcakes is so worth it. Grating fresh cupcakes is so... What is wrong with me? Carrots! Now we're gonna grate the cupcake. There we have freshly grated cupcake.